Hello everybody, this is Michelle Fox and welcome back to The Simple Quilter. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a quilt that I call Pinwheels and Squares. Simple name, it's a simple little quilt. I made it years and years ago with some leftover half square triangles that I made with 2 Christmas quilts, and I put this together and I just like the outcome of it. So I'm going to step aside and show you this quilt. On the weekends, my go-to apparel is t-shirts and blue jeans, and I especially like quilt themed t-shirts. This is a new quilt themed t-shirt. It's from the Etsy shop called So Many Quilty Things. In the description below, there's a coupon code that will give you 15% off quilting and sewing apparel items. She really has some cute t-shirts on her website, and there are several other items that are quilt themed. So check it out if you're interested. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make the quilt behind me, again called Pinwheels and Squares, and I am going to first show you the fabric selection that I've decided to use. It is called the All Hallows Eve collection. I really like this collection, and let me show you the fabrics that I've used. Okay, so here are the blacks and the grays that I used. And here are the oranges. I also used this orange in the main part of the quilt, but I'm trying to decide on these for the accent border and the wider border. So I'm either going to use this one and this one together or these two together. I'm still trying to decide, but I wanted to show you those. My background fabric is just a white on white tone, a white on white fabric that I love, and I really am leaning towards this because I love the green as a zinger. In Fig Tree and Company's new collection, they have added this green. I don't have this green. All of these fabrics will coordinate with all these, but this is the latest collection called Pumpkins and Blossoms, and I really like this one too. I don't have quite the right green, and I don't have a large enough amount to even do the accent border, but anyway, I can order some. So I do like that. I like this too because this pulls the orange and the black together in the quilt, and I like this black because I feel like it kind of stops the motion of the quilt. But anyway, those are just the fabrics that I've used and the 4 that I'm considering for the borders. Now, this quilt consists of 2 blocks, a pinwheel block and a little square block. These are the only 2 blocks the quilt uses. And I'm going to show you how to make each of those blocks. Now, in the description below, I will include the measurements for the cutting. This is just my own design. I don't have a pattern for it. I didn't use somebody else's pattern. So in the bottom I'll list the cutting instructions, and the instructions for making it will just be in the video portion. Okay, now the first block I'm going to show you how to make is just the little square with a little border around it. This starts out as just a 5-inch piece. This came from a charm pack, and then these pieces, these side pieces, are 2 inches by 5 inches. Now these will be trimmed down later so that the block measures 7.5 inches. I wanted to try kind of a new little technique today where you cut these just a little bit bigger and then you just trim them down to the size of the block you need. I've seen lots of quilters do that, and I just wanted to try that out. So the first thing, you've got your 5-inch piece, you've got your 2-inch by 5-inch strips, and you're just going to sew those, put those right sides together, sew them, and then press them. So you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. And I didn't trim anything down until after I was completely finished. Then you're just going to take your 2 by 8 inch pieces and put those here. Sew those on and press them open, and you're going to have just this little block. It's just really easy to do. And so this piece is going to trim down to 1.5 inches. So I just trimmed that, flipped it over, and trimmed there, and I did the same thing with the other pieces. And then just to make sure everything measures correctly, I just used a 7.5 inch square and made sure that it didn't need any trimming. Actually, this needs a little bit of trimming. Just a tiny bit, not much. That much could make a difference. This is a 8 inch, actually an 8.5 inch ruler. I can put that in the description below if you're interested in that. Alright, and then you have your little 7.5 inch little piece. And I don't know yet. I really feel like my piecing's good enough that I don't really need to make it bigger and trim it down, but I wanted to try it. The next block is just the pinwheel block. And I made my half square triangles using the triangle paper. Those were actually the 3.5 finished Thangles. And I'll include the link for the video for that up above. And I just made, oops, guess I need to get that on there correctly there. And I just made the triangles, and then I sewed these two together and these two together to give you these pieces. I pressed them, put them together, pinned them, sewed, opened them and pressed them, and then that is the outcome there. And this, let's see if I need to trim this one up. This should be 7.5 inches too. Maybe a tiny bit. Get those little strings out of the way. Now be sure you're pressing accurately too. I just did a video on how to press your seams, so be sure you can take a look at that if you're having difficulty pressing your seams. But that's the next block. Now you'll end up needing 48 half square triangles, 24 in one color, 24 in another. You could do a scrappy design if you'd like, but this is how I did mine. And then here, for mine, you need a total of 13 of these. I used 4 black, 4 gray, and 5 orange. Okay, so this is how it looks laid out with all the blocks made. I don't have them sewn together, but I just alternated it. And again, I used 5 orange, 4 gray squares, 4 black squares. But you can use whatever color combination you want. And then there's 12 pinwheels, so you need 24 of each color of your pinwheel. And you can just mix those up however you want. You can even do this totally scrappy. But one thing I like about this quilt is the secondary pattern that shows up. The next thing I want to show you is the border combinations that I'm considering, and you can tell me which one is your favorites in the comments below. Okay, so I have both of my border combinations that I'm considering put up here, and I'm going to step aside so you can see. I really like both of them, but I think I'm leaning towards this because I like this little inner border as a zinger. I think that really looks neat. I think I like it maybe more so than this, but I do like both of them. So put your preference in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Always share with a friend. Leave a comment below. I love to get the comments and I try to reply to each and every one. And until next time, have fun quilting.